Okay, have you ever really stopped to think about how your body deals with fat? I mean, your blood is mostly water, and the fats you eat are, well, oily. They just don't mix. So how does your body run this incredibly sophisticated delivery service to get those fats where they need to go? It's an amazing story of biological engineering. All right, so here's the game plan for this explainer. First, we'll look at that core problem, oil and water. Then we'll meet the delivery trucks our body has built. We're going to follow two major delivery routes, see how the whole system cleans up after itself, and finally, we'll tie it all back to what this means for your health. So let's kick things off with the fundamental challenge. Why does our body even need this super complex system just for moving fat around? What's the big deal? It's something we all experience. You eat a meal with some healthy fats, maybe some avocado or olive oil, or hey, even a cheeseburger. And somehow that greasy stuff has to get through your bloodstream, which is almost entirely water, to power your muscles and your brain. I mean, how on earth does that actually work? Well, it all boils down to some pretty basic chemistry. Fats, or lipids, are just less dense than water. Their molecules are packed loosely. Water molecules, on the other hand, are packed super tightly. You've seen this a million times with salad dressing, right? The oil and vinegar separate. They just will not mix. This means your body had to get creative and invent a special kind of container. And this is where things get really clever. Your body doesn't even try to dissolve the fat. No, instead, it packages it up. It builds this entire fleet of specialized, high-tech delivery vehicles. And these incredible little vehicles are called lipoproteins. Just picture these tiny little spheres. On the inside, you've got this oily core carrying the cargo, fats and cholesterol. But the outside shell is water-friendly. This brilliant design lets the whole package just cruise smoothly through the bloodstream. No problem at all. Now, if the lipoprotein is the delivery truck, you can think of the apolipoproteins as, well, everything else that makes it work. They're the truck's frame, giving it structure. They're the driver, activating the enzymes that unload the cargo. And they're the GPS in the keycard, telling the truck exactly which cells to go to and how to dock. They're absolutely crucial. So this is basically our fleet lineup. You've got your chylomicrons. These are the massive semi-trucks hauling in triglycerides from the food you just ate. Then there's VLDL, which is also hauling triglycerides but dispatched from the liver. LDLs are the smaller delivery vans specializing in cholesterol. And finally, you have HDL, the all-important recycling truck that goes around to pick up the excess. All right, let's hop on board and follow the first delivery route. This is called the exogenous pathway, which is just a fancy way of saying it handles fats coming from outside your body. Yep, from your food. So picture this, you've just eaten. The fats from that meal get packed into our biggest truck, the chylomicron. It gets into your circulation, and right away it gets an unload signal. That signal activates an enzyme that lets your muscles and other tissues just pull out those fatty acids for immediate energy. Once it's mostly empty, the smaller remnant truck uses its return to base signal to head straight back to the liver to be taken off the road. But what about the fats your body makes itself, or the ones it's stored? Well, for that, we need a totally different internal delivery route, the endogenous pathway. And for this, the liver acts as the central warehouse and dispatch center for the whole operation. So the liver sends out its own trucks, called VLDLs, and they're also loaded up with triglycerides. As these trucks make deliveries around the body, they start to shrink and change. They morph into these smaller, much more cholesterol-dense particles, and we call those LDL. This LDL is now the final delivery van for cholesterol, using its special protein key to unlock and drop off its cargo at any cell that needs it. Okay, we've made our deliveries. Awesome. But any good delivery service has to have a plan for returns and cleanup, right? What happens when there's too much cholesterol left lying around? Well, this is where the body's crucial recycling program kicks in. And this is really the key thing to understand. Almost any cell in your body can make cholesterol, but only the liver and intestines have an exit door to actually get rid of it. So if cholesterol starts to build up in, say, a cell in your artery wall, it's trapped, it's stuck. It desperately needs a pickup service to come get it and take it back to the liver for disposal. And this is where our hero, HDL, comes into the picture. These small HDL particles are sent out from the liver, and they travel through your body like little sponges, just soaking up any extra cholesterol they find. An enzyme then traps that cholesterol inside, and the now full HDL particle heads straight back to the liver to unload it so your body can get rid of it for good. So we've got delivery trucks dropping stuff off and recycling trucks picking stuff up. Let's wrap this up by connecting this whole amazing system to something you hear about all the time: good and bad cholesterol. Why does any of this actually matter to you?
It's actually super simple when you stick with our analogy. LDL is called the bad cholesterol because it's the delivery truck. If you have way too many of those trucks on the road, they can get stuck, spill their cargo, and cause cholesterol buildup in your arteries. HDL is the good cholesterol because it's the cleanup crew. It's the one going around removing that excess cholesterol. So it's really all about the balance between delivery and cleanup.
And on the triglycerides side of things, the health of this system really depends on how efficiently that cargo gets unloaded. The LPL enzyme is like the unloading dock, but it can't do a thing without the master switch, that apolipoprotein called ApoC2. That little switch is what gives your body access to all the energy packed inside those delivery trucks. Finally, there's one more variation of that bad cholesterol truck you really should know about. It's a special, genetically determined type of LDL called lipoprotein A, or just LPA. And the science on this is crystal clear. High levels of LPA are a direct, independent cause of cardiovascular disease. So beyond just your basic LDL on HDL, understanding your LPA level could be a critical piece of your personal health puzzle. Which leaves us with a pretty important question. Do you really know what your body's delivery service is up to?